Alright, let's take some shots. Oh! Yo! Whoa! Whoa! I just shot him and he blew up with a bunch of the kegs. What just happened?
Hey, what's up everyone? Today in this video we're ranking every Tall Tale cosmetic from worst to best. It's been about a month since we got the 5 new Pirates of the Caribbean Tall Tales, and now that I've finished all of them and have unlocked the rewards, I figured it was a good time not only to talk about and rank the new cosmetics, but also all the previous ones from the other Tall Tales. I think some of my placements may shock some of you, and I'd love to hear your list in the comments below. So we have 36 cosmetics spanning 17 Tall Tales. A lot of the earlier Tall Tales made it much harder to unlock the cosmetics, making you complete the Tall Tale 5 times to be able to earn everything. It is definitely a grind, and if you've done it already, I commend you for your achievement. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Starting off at number 36, we have Briggsy's hat, which is probably the ugliest hat in the game. I have only seen one person ever wear it in game, and it had to be put in the bottom slot. Moving on to number 35 is the Pistol of Sunken Sorrow, which I really don't know what to say about this. While it's interesting looking, and I think it's a more creative idea than some of the other stuff we've seen on this list, I find it to be a bit too much for my liking and something I would never use to run. I think it's a bit difficult to aim with as well. I would have much rather seen something like the figurehead of the Flying Dutchman be rewarded with this Tall Tale instead of rewards we got, which seem a bit out of place with all the Davy Jones stuff during the Dark Brethren Tall Tale. Next, I'm going to talk about number 34 and 33 together, as they're both from the same Tall Tale. While I really liked the Tall Tale, I also really hated their rewards. The Cannon of Sunken Sorrow and the Hull of Sunken Sorrow were just big disappointments to me, and the cannons are similar to the pistol, just have too much going on and it's difficult to aim with. The Hull, on the other hand, isn't bad. The coloring is nice, but I just don't really have anything that I want to put with it because it doesn't really look good with much. Compared to other options, and also not having any sales that would match, well, it makes it a hard sell for me to use this. Next at number 32, we have the Rum Bottle Spyglass. I honestly just find it to look pretty ugly and bland to me. The Tall Tale isn't fun either. It would have been nice if they did something a little bit more unique with this telescope, like how we have the other telescope on this list is a bit more unique, but there's not much for me to say on this, so let's next move on to number 30, which is the Gold Hoarder Jacket. We're starting to move on to cosmetics I think are good but not great. The Gold Hoarder Jacket is a nice jacket, but something about the coloring of it always just seemed off to me. Like maybe if the green on it was a bit darker or something. However, I still think it's a pretty nice jacket and would go well with the Gold Hoarder hat if you earned that last season during the Reapers vs. the World event. For me, it's just not something I wear because I typically like black and dark colors. Number 29 and number 28 are the Pirate Lord's jacket and Pirate Lord's hat respectively. Both these, while being fairly simple, I find look nice and good for any new pirate starting off. I still find myself wearing the Pirate Lord's hat from time to time, and it just looks nice with almost any outfit. And the Pirate Lord's jacket is fairly simple. I wouldn't say I run it too often, but for a new pirate, it's nice to have that. Next at 27 is Briggsy's sword, which, while being my least favorite sword on this list, I still find it to look pretty cool and unique with its completely gold look. Next at 26 is the Morningstar flag. I really like this flag, however, it being just a flag made me not want to put it any higher than 26 on this list. I don't have much to say on this other than it goes really well with the rest of the Morningstar set. So let's go ahead to number 25, which is the Magpie Wing Cannons. These are pretty basic, however I find them to have a nice bit of charm that for some reason I would just really enjoy. This looks nice if you kind of go for a more low-key type of ship, which is something that I typically do often. Next at number 24 is Rose's Compass, which I think looks really nice and unique compared to the other compasses in the game. It's definitely a nice reward from completing the Wild Rose Tall Tale, And if you really enjoy the Wild Rose cosmetics, this is definitely one you want to have. At 23 we have the figurehead of Sunken Sorrow, which is pretty cool. While I don't think it goes great with the tall tail, if we're just judging the cosmetic on its own, it's pretty nice, and I could see it on par with the collector's figure I had seen in the Emporium. Way that the glow comes off of it, it just looks nice to me, and it reminds me a lot of if you took a Chest of Sorrows and mashed it onto the front of a ship, and somehow took away the annoying crying of the chest. I'm guessing that's what they were going for, but it came out pretty well, and it's probably the best thing out of that whole set. Number 22, we have the Morningstar Sails, which I really like a lot. I think the whole Morningstar set, including number 21, the Morningstar Hull, are just all really nice together. I'd say if you're the type that likes to have a more prim and proper look, like if you were part of the Royal Navy or something, you'd probably like this set a lot. I hope in the future we get other Morningstar cosmetics, maybe the wheel, anchor, and cannons, because that's all that's really left to complete this set. So we'll see in the future, maybe we'll get that in another tall tale. Moving on to number 20, the Ancient Spyglass. This is the one I referred to earlier. I feel like this one might make some people mad, but I really like this cosmetic. And I think it's cool the way it looks like something from long ago. Now, when you use this, it has more of a squared off shape, which actually lets you see more of the area that you're looking at. That's something I really like, and it can be a competitive advantage for a lot of situations. It won't, it's not game breaking, of course, but just having that extra field of view helps a lot. I also, just in general, looking at the spyglass, I think it looks cool. Something from like an Aztec era, something you'd see like from the Shores of Gold area. It looks similar to that kind of architecture and design. Next at 19 we have the Wild Rose Wheel, which looks really nice. And I think the Wild Rose set is just very underrated, even by me. And it's something I'll probably run more in the future. Moving on to number 18, we have the Constellation Tattoos. This I believe is the only tattoo reward from the Tall Tales, and while it's not one that I run that often, it is definitely unique and looks good and definitely worth trying to get. Number 17, we have the Maggie Pie's Fortune Sails. This is another one I think may be controversial because of how easy it is to get, and with it not being super flashy. With this reward being from completing everything in the Maiden Voyage, it makes it something a majority of players can get pretty easily, which I think gives the perception of being a bit of a beginner player looking like default sail, similar to how you have just the regular default white sails. However, I find them really nice looking and something I enjoy running when I want something a bit more low key. Next at number 16 we have the Morningstar figurehead. This one reminds me of a darker version of the bear and bird figurehead. It looks pretty cool, similar to like a bear being possessed, and because of how much of a grind it is to get this, it helps make it a lot cooler because not many people have it. Number 15 we have the Ashen Dragon Sails, probably one of the most overused cosmetics on this list, but for good reason, as it's a pretty nice looking sail. The glowing red of the dragon on the sails looks great, and I'd love to see more sails like this where you feel like it came straight out of a volcano. While not something I run that often because I don't like running things that lots of people use, this one's starting to become one that you don't see that often anymore, even though I feel like a lot of people still own it. At 14 we have the Cursed Captain's Hat. This one is one I really like a lot, and I've been using it since I unlocked it during the first Pirates of the Caribbean Tall Tale. I'll admit it's nothing too amazing, but it just looks great with lots of different stuff. So that's why I'm placing it high on this list. At number 13 we have the Trapmaker's Capstan, which is pretty cool looking with the being like a barrel. I love when you lower the anchor and you see the skull on top descend downwards. It just looks really cool. For a while I didn't really like this anchor, but then I started looking at it again recently. I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool, this is unique, and not something you really see in the game. So that's why it's making it high on this list. Next at number 12 is the Shores of Gold Curse, which you get from doing every combination in the Shores of Gold Tall Tales. I think the reason people like this one is because of how time consuming it is to unlock this, where you have to complete every Tall Tale 5 times in that original set. and you also have to get all the other accommodations done with all the journals and stuff. So it just makes this a really hard grind to get to. It makes part of your body look like gold, which is cool and deserves to be high on this list, but I think the following rewards are a bit more interesting. And one thing I would like to have seen, which would have been cool, would it be to have this be reactive, maybe? And the more loot you have on your ship, the more gold you turn into. That would have gone great with the story of the Shores of Gold, because you have the gold hoarder at the end who turned into the gold hoarder because of his greed with having all that gold. So it would have kind of made sense. So if you have, say, 20 chests on your ship, you're completely gold, and then you could divide it up however you want. So like 10 chests on your ship makes you like half gold or whatever. I think that would have been cool. I think that would have made it, for one thing, it would help people grind more to have chests on their ship, making it fun if you want to try to steal, be a little bit of motivation, and you could be a little bit of a flex, be like, oh look, I got all this gold on me, I got all this loot. I don't know. I think that would have been something interesting to have, but maybe we can still get that in the future. Following that, at number 11, we have the Gold Hoarder figurehead. This one I think looks really cool and definitely fits well with the Shores of Gold tall tale. Ship cosmetics are some of my favorite cosmetics since you get to see them the most in game, and I think it's one of the easiest ones to change up whenever. I'm the type that doesn't really like to change up my weapons or say my player that much, but I'll change up my ship cosmetics pretty often. Next we have another ship cosmetic. At number 10, we have the Revenge of the Silverblade capstan. As someone who loves the Silverblade set, this was a cool one to unlock. My only problem with it is we don't have matching cosmetics for the rest of the set. So right now all you can do is have like all the nice new looking Silverblade stuff, and then you just have this capstan that kind of stands out. It looks like it's a sunken version of the ship. So maybe one day we can get the rest of this Revenge of the Silverblade set. I hope so, but if not, I'm still really happy with what we got. This set also goes really well if you're trying to go for that sunken ship sort of vibe, and could go well with a lot of different cosmetics too. Next at number 9, we have in that same set, the Revenge of the Silverblade Cutlass. Just like the capstan, the sword is identical to the Silverblade Cutlass, but if it was like to be left underwater for a long time, you find that it has a bit of a rusted look to it, making it look really cool, and I think even better than the original. At number 8 is the Tankard of the Dam. This one is really cool and finally lets you drink like the other pirates in Athena's Fortune. The effect on the tankard looks really nice and spooky, and it's pretty interesting to have the ability to see through it. I think this is going to be one that almost everyone's going to run for at least a year, probably, until we get something even cooler to beat it out. Next is the Cursed Captain Sails. These sails are my favorite sails of the Tall Tale cosmetics. The design of them I think looks really cool with the overlapping swords, and the edges of the sails glowing a ghostly green is something I really like. I only wish we had the ability to unlock the rest of the set that goes with it, which is kind of a theme with a lot of these cosmetics, because a lot of them are just like one-off pieces and you don't really get the rest of the set to match it. It could be, of course, that these cosmetics that from the new Tall Tales are so new that maybe it's just like that beginner phase where I'm just really enjoying them. However, I think these ones rival all the other sails in the game, and I would say they're better than the other sail that I would say matches that, which is the Morningstar sail. At number 6, we have the Ashen Dragon Hull. I put this very high on the list because I see this as being something that goes good with lots of different cosmetics and not stuff just in the Ashen Dragon set. The hull has a nice orange glow that makes your ship stand out, but not in a goofy way. I think there are a lot of ways to make your ship look pretty bad, but you could put this hull with a lot of things and it would still look great. Only bad thing I'd say about this is by now a lot of people have this, so if you're the type of person that doesn't like to run things everyone else is running, you may not like this as much. At number 5 is the Ashen Curse. This is a really nice curse, and I remember when this came out and it was super hyped. I love how when you use it, it makes your chest glow red, like there's a fire inside trying to escape. While I love this curse, I don't use it that often because of how bright it is, and it makes it really easy for opponents to see you, especially in the dark. However, it's definitely a cool one, and something that you kind of want to play if you're a more offensive player, and you kind of just want to show your might to other players that might be a little bit more new and haven't unlocked it yet. Next at number 4, we have Pendragon's Sword of Souls. This sword is awesome and looks kind of like a lightsaber. It's pretty unique compared to the other swords in the game based off its glowing blue color and super skinny blade. The skinniness of the blade kind of gives you an advantage since you can see more of the screen when fighting. This is a great sword and I have nothing really else to say on it other than it looks like a lightsaber. It's definitely one of my favorites in the game, not just for this list, but in general of all the swords in the game. It's a great sword, I have nothing else to say on it, so let's move on to number 3, which I grouped all the instruments of the dam together for this one. These are really cool, just like the tankard of the dam, these instruments have that ghostly look to it, and the placement of this mainly due to I think the instruments are a lot more used than the tankard, so that's why I put it higher on this list. I typically don't use the tankard that often, so I use the instruments a lot more when I'm playing. These ghost instruments are one of, if not the best instrument cosmetics in the game, and I had loved to see this in the Tall Tales. I think this was a really cool cosmetic to earn. Moving on though to our number 2 spot, which is the Order of Souls Eye Curse, which if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know this is something that I run basically always. It's a bit low key compared to the other curses, but it makes your character look so unique, especially if you pair with the right makeup. And in all honesty, this is my favorite Tall Tale cosmetic in the game. However, as much as I love it, it still can't beat our number 1 spot, which is Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life Shanty. I absolutely love this shanty, which is the song from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. For years now, I would literally play Sea of Thieves while listening to this song, but now I can actually play in-game, which is awesome, and to me it's so worth the grind to complete all the combinations in the new Tall Tales, which really, compared to the original Tall Tales, is not that much of a grind. You can do it all just playing the Tall Tales once, if you decide to do all the journals and stuff at the same time. Side note though, this is the only shanty you can unlock in-game that is not just given out to everyone, with the exception of course to the Pirate Legends shanty, but I don't really count that since you can't play whenever you want, you can only play it in the tavern to open up the door. So that just makes this really unique because it's the only shanty you can unlock in game, so you can kind of show it off to other people, and it's really cool when they see it and they're like, whoa, what's that? Anyways, I'd love to see more of this in the future where we can unlock more shanties like this. It'd be cool for us to be able to play that Pirate Legend shanty whenever we want, but I could see that being a problem with opening up the Pirate Legend hideout. But that's the end of our list. I'm sure many of you probably will disagree with some of the stuff on here, so let me know in the comments which one you think was the worst put and where you'd put it, or which one you agree most with me. Do you agree with my number 1 spot? I'm sure some of you may not like Pirates of the Caribbean, may think, hey, why should I care about this? This other cosmetic's way cooler. But I want to know all of y'all's thoughts in the comments. Try to keep it civil. Try to keep it civil. We don't want anyone getting mad at each other, but I'd love to hear some thoughts about this. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, it'd be great if you left a like and subscribe. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye y'all.